Live streaming is dead, it says. So we apologise for that. Hopefully when you watch this back, Alonso leading from the French, from McGregor, Burkitt on their outside, this side, Norway, it's Vold and Vold. And the pace very pedestrian, as it was all day yesterday when Alonso was leading. Alonso knows what he wants from these races, and he is very efficient at getting his job done. Through comes the second Spanish crew. We haven't seen them before. And on goes 721. We're looking at Urban and Boulanger tracking them.
Louis Perez and Miguel Lawrence. And out there on the left-hand side, we can see Sweden making a move. Emil Torstensson and Emil Svensson.
Belgians on the left of the group. It's all kicking off again. I think McGregor wanted to come around Alonso, and he's done it a little bit too aggressively. You see the contact there. French is struggling. Alonso is struggling, and he's just tapped onto the V behind McGregor. A little bit too aggressive there from McGregor. Just caused a little bit of a confrontation. Solti and Boros, no problems at all. It was the French that suffered. And up the side comes France 2, Boulanger and his partner.
Lucas
and
Jeremy Candy.
Lucas and Candy.
Now moving up there.
And through comes Solti, Boros, Adam Advarco there. Burkitt tracking them. McGregor, great job there. Absolutely phenomenal job. He caught the Czechs napping. He didn't want to get pushed back. Now he's going to get pushed back. He doesn't mind now because he gets pushed back into the V. Great job. It's a shame we couldn't get an aerial shot of that, really, because that is a difficult move to pull off without creating contact. And it was well done. But here we go. 713, Lucas and Candy. Leading, they're about 300 meters away from us now. Huge group for the bottom turn.
Looks like all of them are still together.
There's an awful lot of them still together, that's for sure. There's only a very few stragglers out the back. So a group this size, there's a lot of hiding places in the back of a group this size.
And on this first lap, it's no portage, luckily enough, when all the K2s are still together.
So speeding up again, change of shape. I think it's Denmark coming around the outside of the group. It's getting a little bit tense now because the turn is closing up on the outside of the group. Could be the second Hungarians in the white boat, top of your picture. But they're not going to make it round. The group is going to stay this shape now. McGregor tidily in the V-wash again.
It is Søren Maretti and Jonathan Dagnes Hansen from Denmark, boat number 711 there.
It's a lot of boats to fit round the turn.
It will once again be a difficult turn for Burkett and Hatting.
All the big players are up the front end of this race. So apologies, we were absent for a while. We didn't miss too much. You saw a couple of classic moves from McGregor to hold his place when it was all a bit borderline for him. Made one small mistake that ended in contact, but nothing too drastic.
It's still France, Edwin Lucas and Jeremy Candy.
The French, coached by Pascal Boucheret, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, K2 10,000 metre paddler of all time, with Boucheret
And Boccara.
and Boccara. Philippe Boccara now living in America. Pascal Boucheret
The new trainer of France.
coaching the marathon team in France, and seemingly recognised that the K2 race is where their best chances lie, and at the moment, at least, you'd have to agree with him.
And Odvarko and Jakub is also there in the blue dresses behind the South Africans and Belgium. As you
Through
said.
goes Spain, taking the opportunity of the French putting their paddles down. A little bit of naivety from the French because McGregor's taken that opportunity, and on he goes. Little injection of pace, not enough to bother anyone.
Jasper Mokke, a very skilled surf ski paddler from the Mokke paddle team that embraces quite a lot of
Hungarians just squeezing the
good paddlers.
French. Second Hungarians out to the left of Burkett. And Great Britain now finding themselves nicely positioned on the V-Wash. Great work from Tim Pendle, Norwich Canoe Club there. McGregor and Mokke already pumping water. Just saw, yeah, you can just see a little squirt of water coming out. Jesper Mokke keeping the boat empty.
They are using a wash breaker on front in the front.
It's not quite as windy as this morning though, is it, out there?
No,
It's
it
not,
It
not
was
quite as
very
bad.
windy this morning. The lake opens up a bit on the other side of the island in front of the paddlers now, and up there it's a lot more bumpy than it is down here. So all the big names are up there now. South Africa, Hungary on the left-hand side, Spain on the outer side, and there comes Czech Republic, Adam and Odvarko in their blue dresses on the outside there.
The second Hungarian crew also closest to us. That's Marton Mezaros and Balint-Gier. And on the far side, France moving up again. That'll stir things up. Off goes Adam, and that has to be matched by Alonso. Hungarians will come around McGregor, who is more than willing to fall back to the place he wants to be.
And have been most of the race so far.
Now, on the far side, now the Hungarians Hungarians need to let Burkitt come through now and take Hank off that V-wash, but they're unhappy doing that. The Spanish look good.
Very good. We saw that in Europeans as well. Doing very well together. Very well coordinated.
Through come the second Hungarians. This is going to be a sustained effort because the turn is fairly close now and no one wants to be off the back for that.
Martin Mesharos and Valint Gere.
Way too many fast bits and McGregor constantly tracking into that V-wash. Each one of these costs a certain amount and each one of these is costing McGregor about half as much as anyone else. He just moves around in that back V-wash. So coming up to the turn, about 150 metres to go to the turn. Alonso just having a chat with Pena Estevez in the back.
Very relaxed there from both of them.
Sort of information he might be handing over is that his partner may be pulling too hard. Alonso, we know, doesn't want to travel too fast when he's leading. Sometimes backmen can get a little bit excitable.
When you are in the back in the K2, you are seeing the others coming up all the time, and it's very easy to use a little bit too much strength. It's easy for the front guy, but you're two in the boat and need to have strength, both of you.
Here we
go.
go.
The way through.
This is the race to the turn.
Boris is eager to take the initiative around the turn. Watch McGregor now.
It's too easy. It's too easy for McGregor here.
Shoulders down, just relaxing. Master of the game from the V-wash.
It's going to be tough for Hungary too on the inside. It's Meszaros and Gear. They're going to have to drop back. And there's not really anywhere for them to drop back to. Pendle and Rutherford neatly positioned in the middle of the group there. Should be safe around this one. And they've gone very close to that buoy. They're leaving no room on the inside. And that's going to string things out a little bit. And they're going. So they've come in there with some intent. McGregor having to cover this one. You can see how hard he's working now. He'll come up the inside around this buoy and should be safe. Tidily done. French fall into the V-wash. And that's created a little bit of space between these front seven and the rest of the field. I think that will close up. Hungarians going for it for now. There's your three big names at the front of this race. Burkitt coming around the side.
From Burkitt and Hatting, they should keep going now.
Surely they'll finish that off.
Yeah.
What's to lose by finishing off? McGregor gets what he wants.
Yes.
Burkitt gets what he wants.
Maybe,
they should finish it.
Maybe they are just a little bit too tired.
Possibly. But they could speak to each other.
Strange.
So the group broken up just a little. Spanish still having a chat.
They look very relaxed, Alonso and Pina.
I was impressed by Alonso yesterday. He raced well. Probably not best pleased with his own result, but he was efficient around the course.
We saw this quite a lot last year as well, Boros and Salty in top, but then it was a river race, and they are really good at that. This is a different story.
Here comes Alonso, just holding off Adam to his right. I would think.
Also a little bit strange, but probably they are feeling very good.
There's a lot of willingness to work. McGregor doesn't like where he is, so he's going to try and change that. Boros moving out to his left to try and stop McGregor coming through. Bit of a showdown, here we go, and McGregor wins that one. And in very aggressively turning in there. I think there's a little bit more stress out there than you would imagine right now.
It is.
That's twice McGregor's come in very sharply once he's gone round. He's very much laying the law down to the Hungarians. Just trying to establish a little bit of hierarchy in this race. And Salty and Boros somehow failed to keep that front V-wash.
Once again, Burkett and Hatting on the left-hand side of McGregor and Mocke not doing anything. Oh, there.
Oh, so this is going to get quite fun at some stage. That's full on from McGregor there. There's no messing with that. That is full on, and they really are trying to establish some sort of dominance in the early stages of this race.
Now they have shown don't mess with us. We are doing what we want in this race.
600 metres to go to the...
A little bit of recovery time now for the South Africans.
McGregor and Mock really pushed the lead there to make sure they were...
It was Hungary that suffered most from this.
First 40s.
Second Hungarian boat coming up there on the left side.
Ja, sie haben die Führung übernommen. Die Südafrikaner mit Ego und Mocke.
So South Africans, Spanish, untroubled through all of that. Alonso just keeping an eye on the bow of Jacob Adams' boat there. Hungarians tucked in the back now. And McGregor speeds up. This is going to be a fast portage.
It's 300 meters more to go to this portage. That's why it's a little bit more tense now. It will be decisive.
There's quite a lot of stress in that group now. All the big contenders well placed.
British boat looking comfortable there at the moment.
McGregor going to the right hand side. Hungarians coming round to go to the left. McGregor might change his mind and push them to the left now. They're going for it. You can see the strain on Hatting's face. He's full out. Spaniards looking comfortable. Even if they're only going to get what's left, they don't look stressed about that.
Not at all.
And they're all going to come in pretty much together. It's going to be McGregor first.
Nice and tidy. Wow.
Too slow from the Hungarians. They're going to get closed down on the landing stage. There's going to be a lot of elbows. South Africans and Spanish way tidier than the others through there. Drinks given to the South Africans. French still going well. Hungarians still in there. So far, it's the Spanish who've done the least. Boros, Salty, clear on the left. Pendle and Rutherford just behind them. It's going to go well for both the crews on the left-hand side. They'll both come back in touch. South Africans away.
Very, very good.
Spanish
courses
following
from,
them. It was Burkett and Hatting.
Yeah, very good. They weren't first up from the border, but their running was excellent, and also the departure from the portage.
So the group strung out a little going around the turn as you'd expect. But Spain, Stefan.
Spain, they look very confident. So relaxed.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Bother at all. No bother at all. There's contact between the French and the Hungarians out there now. Great Britain moving up to the lead wash. That's the first time we've seen them right at the front. Fantastic work from Pendle and Rutherford.
It is 20 bouts now within 1 minute.
Maul
20
and
bouts
Schmiel
within a
run
minute.
through the portage.
Establishing themselves in that group, which is what they're after.
So good work from a lot of crews. We're down to 7 in the front group.
In that leading group at the moment.
Somebody with cramp in their leg there, unable to walk. His mate's carrying his boat for him. Up at the front. Again. It's Boros and Salty taking it on, taking it to the Africans. They squeeze Burkett into the V, which has knocked McGregor back one slot.
And we got the top 10 on the graphics, and the 11th is Argentina, 12th is Belgium, 13th is Norway, 14th Spain, 15th Italy, 16 Germany, 17 Germany,
Round
18
comes.
Argentina. There it comes.
Round
Everything.
comes McGregor on the left. He doesn't want to be stuck on the outside of the group. The straight rounds push Great Britain into the lead now.
Speed is higher now. Jim Pendle and William
Irish crowd
Rutherford
there.
setting the
Bit of
speed
a
there
wave
now.
from the Irish. The Egan clan out in force today.
Very, very happy about that.
Great race from Jenny Egan yesterday. Unlucky at the portage. Through go Boros and Salty again, tracked by the Spanish. French on the right, Great Britain left. Expect to see another bow come through soon, 'cause I'm not sure that the South Africans are where they want to be. So there's a South African bow. That's McGregor's bow right there. So we get a crowd shot. Here comes McGregor. He wasn't going to stay on the outside for long. What we'll try to do is push up just a little, which will force the Spanish past the Hungarians, and then he'll be safe. There we go. So McGregor did his job. Some people online already predicting a South African 1-2, Stefan. I think it might be a bit early for that, don't you?
Quite a bit.
Good work from Pendle and Rutherford moving through there. Boros moved out to let them through. And why did he let them through? To force McGregor's second wash out. Boros is starting to think this game through really well this afternoon.
Argentina. Not a good achievement of Argentina. Nestor Pinta and Leonardo Mochicafredo. That were 10th
Round
last
goes
year in
McGregor.
Gingö.
He's going to find himself in the lead because they keep putting him second washout. They're doing a little bit better job on him today. Just push to the front. Now we hope that the Spanish come through. They'll relax down. No, he won't. They can't relax until the threat from the right-hand side's gone. Pendle and Rutherford, it's gone now. And now they can relax. All settle down again. Second Hungarians, another attack on the right. It's Boros and Solti. And that squeezes the Spanish to the front. Great Britain, the beneficiary there. They fall back to the V.
Now it's on again into as 300 meters or so to the next turn.
Spanish again impressed there. It wasn't full on from either crew, but McGregor decided it wasn't worth his while to push it. Through come Hungary 2, and McGregor will fall back comfortably into the V.
Once again, Hatting and Burkett on the third wash there on the inner side. Argentina
making steady progress back to the group.
Argentina, that have done a good championship so far. Many good results. Balboa, K1.
Hungary 2, Hungary 1 will have to come around Spain, and so they should. Spain should let them really squash McGregor out. I think everyone's a bit fearful of letting Hungary 1 and Hungary 2 get together. And Alonso shuts the door. Alonso totally in control of where he's positioning.
Now Hatting and Burkett.
Round come the French.
Where they want to be.
They caught everyone napping there, including the commentators. A little bit of a readjustment. This is probably the shape of the group going into the next turn. Boros Solti positioned well. Spaniards positioned well. Hatting on the inside of the turn again. He'll probably get a little bit of a squeeze. McGregor maybe one wash further back than he'd choose, but he's very, very comfortable there. Low arms, low shoulders. Hatting just being forced back.
And destroyed a bit for...
And Hatting's gone inside that buoy. He hit the buoy and came to the left of the buoy. I think he's going to have to go back round that one, and this could break the group up now. So Hatting's out of the picture, at least for now. He'd been risking it on the inside of that group every turn so far. That was a risk too far on that lap, and there you can see him at the top of your picture. He's got some work to do now. It's France from Hungary, and we're one South African crew down, and all of a sudden that South African 1-2 doesn't look quite as likely as it did.
So Boros and Solti have moved back up onto the wash. British boat sitting there in third place. That's,
France, Hungary, Spain I'm loving in this race so far. Absolutely loving Spain. McGregor, very controlled. He's in no rush to close this group up. Great Britain, Pendle and Rutherford doing a phenomenal job out there as well. There's a lot of work to be done out there. There's still time for the South Africans to get back.
7:08 is the second Spanish crew, Luis Perez and Miguel Lawrence.
At the top of your picture, the Belgians, Panakouk and Dries Corrin. It's not going to be their day, but France still looking good. Just gave the nod to Hungary to come through, and the Hungarians are keen to push this on. Very keen to push this on.
Boris and Solti.
Second Hungarian crew not coming up their left side, either because they don't want to or they can't. Back in one of the chasing packs.
It's the Swedes,
Keith
Emil
Moore,
Torstensson and Emil Svensson.
Keith Moore, Ziggy Chamil, Chelmsford and Nottingham, and the Czech Republic.
Davidek and Kotok.
It's hard work for these three back here.
Emil Torstensson that is also training, have been training in Durban quite a lot in the MAC squad, like many other athletes of the world. We heard Jenna Ward commented on that
moving
previously.
through. I think the only reason that Alonso will move through to the front is that the speed was a little bit too high for him, and he wants to bring it back under his control, slowing it all down again. They won at the Europeans, but the competition there was a little bit low level, so there were still doubts over how good they were. McGregor comfortable, Hungarians even more comfortable. And away go Hungary too. McGregor will just drop back. He's going to have to.
Yeah, perfectly done. Drop back.
He got in there. It was him or Great Britain, I think, for that one. And Pendle and Rutherford just a little too slow. So Hungary leading.
But Varko and
McGregor
Adam
relaxed.
on the right hand side, the blue dresses, will try to push.
700 into the 40s from there.
And now the speed is a little bit higher. You can see that from the position of the wash hanging too. They are a little bit backwards. The bows at the same level as the aft of the leading boat, telling us that the speed is a little bit high.
Yep. McGregor tucked into the V-wash for the high-speed section, ideal. French will be blowing just a little bit on the outside here. Great Britain with the yellow bow, and France too. And then the Czechs on the far side, Adam Odvarko. They look like they're suffering just a little. They're trying to drop back to the centre of the group. So, about 100 metres or less to go to the portage. Hungary very much in control of this one. Spain not put a foot wrong so far in this race. McGregor won't be stressed that he's not being able to choose where he goes. He's got plenty of time here. And the two French crews looking good. Off goes Boros to the right-hand side as we look at it. Great Britain going with him. They did the same on the first portage and it worked out well for both crews. Up and away. Hungarians away, Spanish away. And McGregor. Alonso just waiting, going back so he can get through the drinks channel. Hungarians free to run at the front now. And the Hungarians are entering into the spirit of this one. McGregor and Mocker just wanting to be close enough so that the Hungarians can't run. They're in, they're away, but they're not going to be away quick enough. A little bit of rush from the South Africans there. They weren't comfortable with the Hungarians getting away, and it's one boat away. The French are in all sorts of trouble. They got their rudder stuck in the gap between the landing stage and the outside bit. They might not even make this if their rudder's broken. Spanish, having come through the drink stop and then got balked by the French as they got in, have got a bit of work to do for the first time. And it's Hungary versus South Africa at the front. I think it will close up. It's a long way to go yet, especially as Spain are back there and they've looked good so far. But it was the French that did the damage there with a little bit of incompetence at the portage. And it's the Hungarians who are capitalising on that.
Trying to keep South Africa off, but I think they will gain both of them to work together instead. Now, there McGregor is back on the wash. Adrian Boros really went for it over
He
this
did.
portage.
They made a significant gap. Alonso now has a decision to make. He's the one with the strength to close this gap, but he wants somebody else to do the work. And this, if it's a one-on-one with these two crews, will be a very interesting race.
It's already 14 seconds.
Salty and Boros are shifting at the front there. There's no motivation in this group to close the gap.
Not yet, at least. About 14 seconds, and it increases. And now McGregor and Mokke realize this opportunity and set the speed, helping the Hungarians. And the gap still increases.
I think these two have decided.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Spain is not following. They looked so relaxed. Maybe they were taken by surprise here.
No, they got stuck with the French here. The
Yeah,
French couldn't
yeah,
get the
so
boat in the
that.
water.
Why don't they
They
try
had
to
to wait.
close the gap?
They had to stand and wait. And now the gap is opening. Question for me and Troutman online. I wonder if these top
No.
guys sit skew.
Now Spain
Like the rest of
realized
us, and yes.
danger.
Ian, they do. Everyone does. Some people pretend they don't, but I swear everyone does. I never had a K2 partner that didn't have a lean, and I'm sure these guys are no different.
Spain realize the danger, and I'm setting off now. Chasing party. Spain in the lead, setting the speed now, trying to close the gap. A little bit too late. They will work really hard now. But it's definitely so that Spain is the strongest in that chasing group.
I think Adam and Advaku could also help out there.
Absolutely, but they need to close the gap
that group first.
into that group first.
Yeah.
This is very nice. Two very good teams, so coordinated, relaxed, high speed. Boros is watching over his shoulder. Is this fast enough? And he decided it wasn't.
It's not.
I think he wants a minute or so, at least 40 seconds to feel safe. Watch the speed now. Wow. So nice to see them paddle. Laszlo Salti and Adrian Boros, so well coordinated. Especially Boros' technique is fantastic.
Salty, of course, medalist at the Under-23 World Championships in 1,000 metres this year. He's done a lot of sprinting this year. Boros at the Europeans raced with another Hungarian. While Salty was on sprint duty. This isn't the race that McGregor set out to do today, that's for sure. He was up for a rerun of yesterday.
Auf Metermarke.
But the gap is still increasing. They are not gaining any ground.
Yeah, who's going to be travelling faster than this, though, Stefan? It's just
For the moment,
this is
impossible.
high speed.
Yeah.
Bleiben dabei.
These guys are very happy to do the work.
Also ein bisschen auf Höhe mit.
McGregor just having a chat.
Group, having
Mocker there.
with his partner, Jesper, to see what are we going to do.
Pace
here
just
now?
dropping slightly. You see how McGregor just moved up on the wash.
Just hang on and reduce the pace. Let the others
As they came out of the lee of that island, you saw the waves break over the front of the boats.
questions.
A sustained chase here by this pack.
Now it's Quentin and Urban Quentin and Stéphane Boulanger is trying to keep the speed high enough. 7:13 is Edwin Lucas and Jeremy Candy, and then Alonso and Pinta. And the Brits are also there among these four.
Rutherford, Pendle, forming, I think, already above expectation.
And Odvarko Adam seems to have lost contact.
Second Hungarians is, no, there they are. at the
There
back of
they
the
are.
group. If the Spanish are playing a waiting game here and hoping the others will pull them back, it's a very dangerous game.
Boris is looking over his shoulder, realized the speed is not high enough.
McGregor's happy. If this works, it works. If the others catch up, it's not going to phase him. It's Boros who seems the most keen to hold the second pack at bay. Spanish supporters, that's it, they're back. So, the crew that gained the most from that, Spain.
Yeah.
They did none of the catching, they did none of the running.
They
And
set the
they're back.
speed though in the chasing party when they started the chase, but then just was hanging. Very cool.
Wow.
The ones that suffered most from it, I think it was Hungary.
Yeah,
Boris himself.
I think so. That was a full-on effort from them. It's not just a full-on effort physically, it's mental. They've tried to do something and they've failed. And that knocks your confidence a little bit.
Yeah, they had a couple of 100 meters on really, really high speed.
Reaching for the drinks, hoping someone else will lead. And it's time. Yeah, Alonso's such a professional, such a professional. Their boat speed was such that they were going to drift past into the lead. So what does he do? Puts his paddles down and has a drink. He doesn't even want a drink, does he? But there was no way he was going through to the front of that.
Why should
This
they?
is fantastic. I'm loving this. Nobody wants it now. And actually, everyone's happy with the speed they're going now. Everyone will have a little bit of a seat adjustment, a little bit of drink. McGregor's finding himself at the front, but he's only going at walking speed anyway. So
Can't
this,
paddle slower. So.
this is going to be some race. Salty Boris, they're going to have to rest now for quite a while to get back in control of their muscles.
Ah, second group.
Belgians both together.
Patting and Burkett there.
Spain, 7:08 on the chase again. Perez and Lawrence. Lawrence we've seen earlier on in the weekend. Here comes Burkett and Hatting. You're going to have to question Hatting's driving in this race, Stefan. So many times he should have squeezed in. Then he went on the inside of the turn for what, the fourth, fifth turn in a row, and got squeezed so much that he hit the buoy and went on the inside. I think he's not going to be best pleased with his performance in the front of that boat today. A little bit unlucky always when you hit a buoy, it can bounce one side or the other. When it bounces the wrong side, your heart sinks. We've all been there. Pretty slow in the front group now.
The second group will close the gap.
Second group could easily close.
Then it will be full speed again over the portage.
See the orange paddles of Alonso. At least they're orange when you look at them from the front. Maybe not from the side. To me, he's been very calm throughout. His partner, I don't know much about, but I know he's got a sprint background. Alonso's sprint background for him. Pina Estevez.
Alonso also worked as a trainer. One of his athletes was really this Davis Pina. Alonso born 85, Pina 86.
Salty Boros getting a free ride back to the portage. Pendle Rutherford still tapping along in there, looking good. Adam Odvalco and Urban and Boulanger making up that group. Chase Pack probably 30 seconds behind still.
If they would ever close the gap, it should be now, because the speed is really slow now.
Even the orange boats on the far side are overtaking them, Stefan. Okay, the sound on the live feed seems to be a little bit quiet. So we'll speak up until that problem's solved. There's France, 713, Lucas and Candy from Alonso and Pina Estevez, from McGregor and Mocha, tucked in the V, which they need to be at the moment, is Boros and Salty. They did a lot of work earlier on, and they need recovery from that. Alonso just moving up because we're coming to the portage. Doesn't want to get trapped anywhere. Second group chasing down. Spaniards leading that chase. Moving out to the land, right-hand side of the landing stage, go these three crews. To the left goes everyone else. They might come together again because the speed's high. As they come in, it's the French and the Spanish. McGregor just tucking in behind. He's coming to the right-hand side of the land stage. Very calm move from McGregor. He's going to hold out the Hungarians on this side. No, he's not. He's still going to the left. So a couple of changes of minds from McGregor there. Spaniards, calm. Hungarians not calm. Solti takes a little tumble. The other Hungarians throw their paddle in the water. They've gone back for them. So Hungarians who came in first are running last now. McGregor, comfortable.
Just smiling. So cool.
I'm saying nothing, Stefan. So it's McGregor, Alonso and Boros all still impressing.
All looks pretty
So,
comfortable. Everyone.
Rutherford and Pendle. For those asking the question, it's Edward Rutherford. Although I think his official first name is William, but known as Ed.
Both French crews are within the top 4 now. South Africa, Hungary, France, and Spain. The second group is just 30 seconds behind now.
Hank McGregor and Jasper Monk lead round the turn. But they're
So McGregor and Mocha from Boros and Solti on the far side. Urban, Boulanger, both French crews there though, because there's Candy and Lucas tucked in the V. Spaniards, not sure what happened to them on that portage, but they're just coming around the outside now. Not sure. It's so slow here, no one really cares which wash they're on.
Alonso looked
Solti and Boros taking it on, beautifully falls for Rutherford and Pendle. Great work from Pendle there, holding the French off that V. It was always Great Britain's wash, but the French just sniffed a chance there. Now McGregor's allowed to sit back in the diamond.
We were able to watch their faces in the porches, and they all looked quite comfortable, especially Alonso, I would say. He was not suffering at all.
No.
So calm, just jogging over the portage. Having done 14.1 kilometers out of 29.8.
So coming up for halfway. Mool and Schmiel going through the portage. Out of the second check boat in Sweden. Argentina just chasing up. No Argentinians in the front group today. But it's been a great weekend for them. Solti, Boros, Alonso, Pina Estevez, Urban, Boulanger. South Africans tucked in the V. McGregor, Mocha. In come the Danes, Dagnus Hansen and Soren Moretti. Thomas Christensen there, giving him their drinks. Efficiently done. And they're running through. They should get this portage right because they practiced this portage about 50 times on the first day we were here. Slight change around at the front. Hungarians moving up. McGregor squeezing out Boros. and holding that V. Schoolboy error from Boros there. A little bit of a risk from McGregor, but it pays off well. That move heavily relies on the Spanish not being too close to the lead Hungarians. McGregor obviously saw his chance and went for it. And we're joined in the studio. You guys don't know how privileged you are by this. By the great Alan Laws, organiser of the very first, or one of the organisers of the very first World Championships, way back in 1988. Here we are in 2016. And how's your baby been growing?
I think you can see from this afternoon how well it's been growing. The standard has gone from virtually nothing right through to the top. You've seen it as well, because you were there in '88.
Are you saying my standard in 1988 was virtually nothing there, Alan? Because I might disagree with that.
Both of us.
I see what you're saying, though. The quality of this event is huge.
Yeah, I was trying to refer to the fact that at the end of the first 500 metres, you were second last and still managed to pull up near to the beginning.
Not sure I needed that reminder. Thanks, Alan. But Stefan, you ask him a question before I hit him.
Yeah, but you really started earlier than '88 in the committee. You were not one of the founders, even if you were working in the background already then, but you have been in the committee since 1982.
Yes, that's right. I was privileged really to join quite a lot of good people who have been instrumental right from the very beginning, back in 1976 in London. I was only brought in 78, 79 to try and emphasise the situation, because at that time I was the chairman of the British Canoe Union, as it was then, Marathon Committee. I'd been in the chair since 1974 because I stopped paddling competitively because of a back injury, and it seemed that the sport had already given me quite a lot, so I was trying to put some back.
And you have really done, and this is your last championships as a ICF Marathon Committee member, right?
It is, and in many ways I regret that, but every dog has his day, and I think my time has now come, and it's the right time to pass on to somebody who's coming through better. I mean, Ivan is a really strong person. He has very good ideas about marathon, and it's really good to see him involved at this level.
I hope you're not suggesting for 1 minute that I take control of this, because I'm not sure that would be an ideal situation, although I do love the sport, and I feel very lucky that I've been invited to come and talk about it for 3 days. That's for sure, and I love doing this job. I'm very grateful for that. Organising things, maybe if you speak to the people around me, organisation is not my strong point, but I do have ideas, and there's a lot of people out there who have ideas, and there's a lot of people. I spoke to some South Africans yesterday who have ideas, as they describe them, outside the box for moving the sport on. Maybe it is time to have some new blood in, but the old stages, there's a lot still here, and there's a lot of good work being done by them also.
Yes, it's not a good idea for everybody to disappear at the same time, and some of the old stages, if you leave things as they presently are going to disappear off the end of the perch altogether, and that wouldn't be useful.
But having been, I mean, you were organising the very first World Championships in Nottingham '88. It was a totally different story. It was a good event, but it was 42 kilometers, and we disappeared from the stadium over in the river and came back a couple of hours later. This is a total different sport now, and you must have many highlights from over the years.
Yes, it's difficult to pick the highlights out. One of them was the Copenhagen 1990, which involved yourself when you were with Petrovic down the last 2,000 metres, neck and neck, and it was about a 6 centimetre difference between the finish, between you and him, but he seemed to have the edge at that particular time. You seemed to have the speed and the consistency, but he just managed that final little burst. Did that ever rankle with you at all?
Absolutely. I was thinking of it for every day the first 10 years. But it
Alan,
really,
you come in here,
but-
you've criticised me on my race, you've criticised Stefan on his race. We invited you in here, man. We invited you in here to be nice to us, not to remind us of all our previous failures.
But let me
I'm
just...
not, I don't think you're aware of the difference between criticism and praise. The fact that you could drag yourself back up from being nearly last right through to the front of the race really is high praise, because not many people can do that.
But coming back to that event you mentioned, I lost the gold medal, but I achieved a friend for life. Kalman Petrovic became one of the closest friends in the canoeing world, and we are doing a lot of good work together, still encouraging our youngsters in our respective clubs, Szeged and Vaxholm. So it was really a good achievement, and that is what canoeing is to me. It's friendship, and it's friendship, global friendship that is really paying off. And you must, for sure, feeling the same.
I do. It's been the major driving force for staying within the sport for such a long time. I really can't think of why you would want to do something that you didn't have the heart for, but you get back what you put in. And these friendships that I've derived over the years are really very close to my heart. You asked me what other memories I have, and they are also the ones in Copenhagen in the World Championships, where Ivan showed a similar sportsmanship to the two Portuguese juniors this morning when he helped to fix one of his Danish competitors' rudder. And that was a really heartwarming moment. The other one was when his father tried to trip him up in Hungary on the portage. And
Not tried, Alan, he succeeded.
And yet you still came back and won. So that was a really tremendous moment for British canoeing, I think.
Funnily enough, on that race, that's how a lot of people see it, and I wish, with hindsight, that I'd never raced there, because that was my last race. I hurt myself to win that race, and I hurt myself, I think, badly, and from that moment on I never trained hard again. And it was a mistake to be there, and it was definitely a mistake to be egotistical enough to want to try and win it still when you were there. But it was a great race to be part of, and that race in itself has given me the link to today's race with Hank McGregor being in still, and he was there for that one as his first one. So it's those timeline continuities that we're all here for still, I think.
Do you feel that this change in the actual course design to go away from the traditional classic marathon of either A to B or A to B to A is a better one, having a lap system, or do you find that you still have a fondness for the old style?
I think old timers always hanker back to the old days. I think we do. I mean, for me personally, I would always have seen myself as a 10k racer. That was my natural home, and so this format may well suit me, although I don't like running very much. But I think at the moment we'll just have a little break from our reminiscing, and we'll get back to the race because they're just coming into the portage, a couple of 100 metres. But you're very welcome, Alan, to stay with us for a bit. It'd be great to carry on.
Yeah.
So while we were having a chat, I'm sure you guys were watching the screen, and we've got a little bit of regrouping going on. The second group have closed in. That won't faze the front runners much. I think really the only significant contender in that second group is the South Africans. Appreciate, reminiscing isn't what you guys necessarily want to hear at home, and I appreciate the comments, but the man we got in the studio here is responsible for this event being here. He was in prime organiser for the first one, for getting it all going, and I think you don't realise quite what you owe to these old timers who do the reminiscing, even if it does fill a bit of your time. So I'm going to tell you to suck it up. You can watch the race while we talk, and we'll keep you informed as and when something exciting happens. So here we come into the portage for the third time. It's Hungary leading. Hungary on their left as we look at them, Spain on the right, McGregor tucked in the V where he's been for a lot of this race. Great Britain placed safely on the outside. A little bit dodgy there. Alonso, McGregor wants to come out. I can't believe people let him out that easy. What are the other Spanish doing? So it's Hungary from Hungary. No one's looked right yet to see McGregor, except Alonso. He's going over there.
Once again, Burkett and Hatting is within the top group. As we
In they
thought.
come. McGregor stopping fairly early, but plenty late enough to let the Spanish get out. Boros Solti away first, McGregor next, Alonso next. Three big players always just working their way to the front. Great run from the two young Hungarians. Just sorting out their drink straws. McGregor not laughing this time. And through they go. It's a huge group still. Pendle and Rutherford fighting it a little bit at the back of this. The Germans with them now. Boat 7, 2, 3. That's Paufler and Paufler. Away go Boros and Solti. Away go McGregor and Mocha. They're all safe. Burkett and Hatting held up by the French. The French are just a complete nightmare on this portage, to be fair. Pendle and Rutherford away. The other French crew away. Spaniards safe on the outside. Boros and Solti
Once again,
trying to hand it to them
excellent
again.
portage from them. We saw that also last year. Excellent portagers, these Solti and Boros. Will soon be together again. Now on third position is the second Spanish crew. Coming back from the second group.
It's getting a little bit tough at the back of that group for Great Britain, South Africa and the Germans. There's a little gap opened. And they're well strung out now. Pretty much a nose to tail line. Right back to the second French crew, and then a gap between them and Great Britain, South Africa and Germany with the Paufler brothers. So that's the front group as you see it there. Alonso making a strong move to get up to the front, covering the ground well, just squeezing out Boros and Solti, joining in on the back of McGregor. Boros Solti will come left. They'll have to come up the side of the other Spaniards. The other Spaniards moving up for their countrymen there, I'm pretty sure of that.
Once again, Hatting and Burkett dropped off a little bit, and they are now forming a second group. They are doing that together with Tim Pendle and William Rutherford. And Germany, Paufler.
So all slowing down at the front now. Spain, 2 leading for the first time. Into the portage come one of the trailing groups.
Sweden, Emil Svensson, Emil Torstensson.
Second German crew, second Great Britain crew.
Italy.
Italians there. Front group slowing right down. That'll allow the second group to close that gap. There's Great Britain, South Africa, just making contact with the back of the front group there.
And these guys over the portage now is on 15th to 20th position. Sweden on 15th and Italy on the 19th.
So the French causing problems at the portage both times. We've got a little bit of a breather as they go up the course. And I'm going to go back to Alan. And Alan, big question. Your dream future for the sport. Where are we going?
Got to be the Olympic Games. The current world system of funding, which heavily weighs upon the Olympic Games, has got to mean that those non-Olympic disciplines suffer dramatically. And so if we want marathon to grow dramatically even further from the 40 nations we have at the moment, then it's got to be the incentive of Olympic medals, because it seems that governments want those Olympic medals more than World Championships.
Do you see any downside of Olympic inclusion?
Yes, I do. The pressure to become an Olympic paddler or an Olympic medalist means that there's much more cut and thrust, and to a lot of the paddlers who are just behind that top level, their aspirations are never going to be met.
I think that's a very good point. Most people who run the Olympic dream end up disappointed. That's a fact. You only have to look at the number of people on social media who were on the road to Rio until about June this year, and then suddenly there was a roadblock and it didn't happen.
One of the great things with marathon is that everyone got a result. And we also have these classic marathons that continue to grow all over the world.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the classic marathons actually continue to grow. The number of events is, I think, is actually declining. You see some of the events that actually go off the calendar, and although the big events like Devizes, Westminster and the River Sella prosper, some of the others don't. South Africa is very strong in its classic races, and I think this shows in the way that they produce their marathon paddlers today. They've been able to translate the one style of race into the other, which is to their credit.
But what I mean by growing is that more and more nations all over the world is organizing marathons in different ways. Also, they appear now in other continents that they haven't been before, like Asia and South America, and that is encouraging because it's a global trend to be outside and do sports, and marathon called classic marathons are part of that.
I do see the numbers taking part in the classic marathons as increasing substantially. If you look at the current numbers that participate in, say, the River Sella or the Devizes Westminster, just to take two examples, they are still growing numbers. But the contrary to that is the Gudner in Denmark, which has actually shown a decline in overall total paddlers, and I'm not quite sure why that is. That's a great race. It has every combination that you could want for a paddler, right through from top level to recreational, just going out for the sheer fun of competition. Why that should be declining, I really don't know. Perhaps somebody else has an answer to that.
Yeah, races goes up and down, and another thing that have changed over your years is the way the sport can be presented and the importance of marketing.
It's become very clear that the technology that exists nowadays has made it much easier for us to present the true values of marathon, the cut and thrust in the groups, and the way the sprint finish comes over, and the excitement of a portage with all its mix of not only the running but also the skill of the helpers in the feeding lane. But you need to bear in mind that the technology going from country to country is sometimes quite difficult to work with, as I'm sure you've found this weekend. And we, again, unfortunately, the ugly word of funding comes to mind to be able to make it work properly.
Come back to that, but we have a race going on, a very exciting such, and Ivan, you have been following while we...
Yeah, the second group closed up. It's all come together again. Hatting and Burkitt racing quite expensively. They made a failed attempt to get in the cosy front four. McGregor still pretty much choosing where he goes, as is Alonso, and pretty much as we left it, second group have closed in, but they're not going to do any damage, I don't think, and they're just approaching the top turn. And as we go around the top turn, no one's stuck on the inside this time, so it should all go off pretty smoothly. So we've got Hungarians at the front, Spain, then the two South Africans, then Great Britain, the two French, And behind them, I think we've got the second Spanish crew, yep, and the Germans. Where did Adam and Odvalko go? There they are in the background. Not sure what happened to them, but they were part of the second group. So maybe that second group, only Great Britain and South Africa maybe were the only ones who closed the gap. So well done to both of those. Off goes Solti and Boros. A bit of a change of pace. It's fallen well for Hatting and Burkitt. They need to get some rest where they can now. But have a look at Alonso and how comfortable he was with that change. McGregor will be there somewhere. You see that little gap, and that was Boros and Solti's turn of speed that did that. There's McGregor. A little bit of a showdown. McGregor trying to stop Alonso coming round and getting to Boros and Solti, but instead found himself leading. Boros and Solti will happily take what the other Hungarians have just given them. And everyone, the three main players, was Burkitt and Hatting. Didn't drop out of that wash quite quickly enough. Had a little bit of a coming together with the Hungarians. But this race is panning out to be a very interesting one. See Jasper Mocker pumping, getting the water out of the boat. He's got about 5 minutes to do that before the portage. And on go the Hungarians again.
And now it's traditional shifting positions, as we saw in the K1 race yesterday. Everyone searching for good position, trying to get a comfortable route. And then one last question. You've always been very supportive in the coaching and very advising to us newcomers in the committee and in the sport. Do you have any final advice for us now in the end of your international marathon committee career? What shall we do to continue the good development?
Just keep doing what you're doing and do it with all your heart. Can I ask you a question? What do you think about this new rule proposed about not throwing drink bags into the water? Do you think that's a good rule?
Well, we've discussed that a lot, haven't we, Stefan? We're totally for that. I think it's disgraceful that anyone... one of the joys of this sport is its connection with the outdoors. And we've raced in some beautiful places. Probably the most beautiful is Bohine. And to see people throw in a colostomy bag into a lake like the lake in Bohine was just a disgrace. But we better get back to this now.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks a lot to Alan Laws, one of the pioneers of our sport. He's done a great job, and it's his last one here this weekend. So interesting deviation of the course there. We haven't seen them go that close to the edge of the lake. They won't be doing it for no reason.
And it's Italy, Benedini and Vicenzi, who have retired from the race.
I think I'd rather paddle back past the crowd than walk past with my head down. Milking the applause there, though. So apologies for you guys not seeing the start of this race. I'm not sure why that was. We were definitely on air at the start, plenty of time before the start, so it might be your local internet there. But we were definitely here at the start. It was a good start as well, exciting start. God, you don't know what you missed. It was one of the best.
It's probably there to watch on YouTube after the race.
Okay, so it's Hungary. With Hungary on their right, Spain on their left as we look at it. Great Britain on the far right of the group. This is pretty much an exact replay of the previous portage. South Africans, Hatting and Burkitt on the right, coming in at the portage this time from a very different angle to anything we've seen before.
It is the sixth portage. They have done 21.3 kilometers when they approach here. Another 8 kilometers to go. So it's very slow still.
It's going to be very hard for them to get to the left-hand side of the portage. From here, they're going to have to come right round, steer hard. It looks like Boros is choosing that route, though. It's going to be hard to get into the landing stage from there. He's done a great job of that. Very tidy indeed. McGregor getting out with a bit of intent, but been squeezed on the landing stage by the other two main contenders. Second Hungarian struggling out to get out their boat, but it's Boros and Solti.
It's Alonso and Pena.
Pena Estevez. They've just ducked under the back of Boros and Solti purely to keep the South Africans on their left. The South Africans moved right, so they moved back to the right again. So there's a lot going on in these portages.
We're seeing the same scenario in every portage now. It's Hungary, Spain and South Africa in top. And I think that tells something.
Yep, it's the three big players, always comfortable, always safe. You see Hatting and Burkitt, what on earth? They're waiting, then they're changing sides.
Once again, Hungary is away. That tells also something.
So Hungary, confident, they're moving away. It looks to me like McGregor's going to let the other Hungarians make the chase. This is not a time you want to do too much work unless you have to. The Spaniards holding the South Africans out. Burkitt and Hatting.
Hungary stop and adjust something in the boat. They had a gap, but they didn't use it.
It's all closing up again now. No, again, Boros and Solti go. But it's not going to be anything too dramatic.
Comfortably round that turn. Not quite sure what happened to Solti in the back of the
So just the one portage left.
boat with Adrian Boros, but
It's still a huge group. But the main players consistently up the front end.
but we still got that group of 9 together after that portage. So that's
McGregor coming around Alonso. Get close, and then it'll be 5 or 6 strokes just to take it. There we go. Spanish aren't going to want the Hungarians to close them out, so they might find themselves in the lead. No, it's gone to McGregor. On their right, Burkitt. And Hatting made amends for a poor portage. Two more portages to go, my mistake.
This group is on 14th to 20th position, coming up in the portage now. The Belgians we just saw, it was Peters on the 13th position. We'll soon have the graphics on to show them when they have finalized their portage here. Great Britain, Germany, Sweden,
Republic and Sweden.
and the second Czech Republic both.
So we've got
And on this Pavel Davidek and David Kotrich.
front pack.
Alonso just having a chat with Pena Estevez.
Dinner and Montefino.
Moving up because they're being threatened from the left-hand side by the Hungarians, Meseros and Gia. Boros
And even
Sat in
if
the
it
V.
hasn't been such a rapid race, it started to take its toll. You see that from, for instance, Adam and Udvarko, and it dropped off quite a bit now.
It's the changes of pace that get to you in the end.
Yes.
Acceleration's an expensive game, and if you make a move and it fails, then that really hurts.
And the more times you are forced to put in a high speed, the more you need to pay for it in the end.
So this rotation is going to continue now because they're closing in on Jocelyn for positions for the final stages, really. There's less willingness to move back down the pack. Pendle Rutherford doing a fine job there. Yellow bow on their boat. They should. Alonso's not going to let the Hungarians round.
Coming up to the turn there, they have done 24 kilometers, so then it's just another 5 to go for them. So it's no time for any failures now. It's very little time to pick if you lose
Gregor right at the
some
back
ground.
of the group now. There's no stress to him there, but he would rather be elsewhere, I'm sure. But all these washes are pretty good in a group this size, especially when the group's that shape, so well organised. Haufler brothers, as a lot of the Germans have this weekend, overperforming. It's good to see that from the home nation always. McGregor coming all the way around the right-hand side of the group, and he'll either join in on the front wash or actually take the lead here. There's too many boats between him and the leaders, so he'll probably have to come all the way through or back off. And he's chosen to back off. 3 lengths is a lot of distance to make up. Now it's all slowed down, he'll go again and straight to the front.
So easy.
Good work from him.
Helping his teammates there, coming into the V-wash.
Hatting's so slow to drop, you always see him have to break his stride to reposition after the event. He's just a little bit slow on the uptake, on where he should be and when he should be. He needs to watch this video back and see his mistakes. There've been a few.
Into the turn. Hungary.
And Miguel Burns are playing a part in this now. They're moving around in the top 3 or 4 or 5.
Spanish there, very a little bit vulnerable on the inside.
Right at the back for the rest up the race up to
What
now.
they need to do is take on Boros and Solti and hope that Boros and Solti end up leading. And I think that's what we were just about to see. So I think next time we see them, Boros and Solti will be leading. Yep. And the Spanish, brilliantly done. In fact, they're not even happy with that.
Belgium and Germany has to suffer now when they approach the turn.
It's going to be Spain too. Take the brunt of this. Solti and Boros entering the turn first. There's not going to be room for two on the inside. Everyone around cleanly. Even the Spaniards had to drop back on that one. No room left for anyone. Around they come and looking for another leader. It could be the South Africans. I think Alonso has decided he wants to stay in that front four for the rest of the day now.
So we saw that Boris and Solti knew that Alonso and Pino were going to be making the next lead, so they cut across to in front of the groups to get onto their wash.
So fairly long trawl back to the portage now, about 750 metres from where they are now.
That will be their 7th portage, then one more big lap to go.
So the group's even bigger now. Back to 12 now. So Alonso and Pinar now in control at the front of the race. We've got Andrew Burkett and Luis Atting on their side.
What the big guns don't need now is the second string paddlers challenging them for their positions. It's a bit hard to call any of these people second string, that's a bit brutal, but it's the main players. Palfler brothers moving up, Spain 2 moving up.
Luis Perez and Miguel Lawrence.
Won't stick. You can almost sense the irritation from the front Spanish boat there.
They're trying to find a better position for themselves, but they are not strong enough to really defend it. You can see Hungary encouraging Spain to go up there now and do something. They really want the V-wash instead, but Spain don't have
See how slow the speed is. It's very, very relaxed in those backwashes now. Although it's physically relaxed, mentally there's everything to play for.
Tim Pennell and William Rutherford, very relaxed in the middle there. Just behind South Africa.
So Alonso just moving to the front. This is going to be a pretty decisive
Atting and Burkett finally getting a bit of rest.
Now for Spain, that was starting to challenge.
This is really winding up the big players now. Okay, for you guys watching at home, the two big guns at the front have said no twice to the Germans and the Spanish. The Spanish and Germans need to learn from that, and if they want to make a move now, it has to be a different one. They've had the door closed on them twice. They've been handed the rule book by the other two, and they need to learn.
We saw that Boros was encouraging them to try it twice. Why do I do that? Just to try them out a bit, to rid of them.
I don't know. I don't see what the positive would be for Boros if those two came through. If those two come through, the group will close in towards them, and Boros could end badly for
Encourage them to do the effort and then
maybe.
Just pull them off.
Yeah, it's 300 meters now, maybe, to the portage. Everyone really needs to be looking at where the French are for this portage and stay well away from all of them, because they've been problems on the last 2 or 3.
They're just a little bit too slow. I don't think they mean to do any harm, but they are a little bit too slow in the departure.
Closing in now, any time now. Someone who feels insecure is going to start speeding this up. McGregor looks like he's far down, but he's safe in that position. The group will probably divide in front of him, with the Spanish going right, the Hungarians going left. It leaves him with 2 choices. So he's got loads of options from there.
I think will we see any big effort over this portage?
From that position, it would be tough, wouldn't it? You'd really want them to be in the front 3 if he was going to do something dramatic.
I think it's more
They're
not
really close now, and still nothing's happening.
I think it's more not risking anything here.
Yeah.
Nice and safe, and use any mistake from any fellow
Spanish looking
competitor.
good.
Very comfortable. Alonso
Here we go, the
Peña.
group divides. McGregor chooses right. He's got a little bit of hassle from the French again. The French are just a nightmare in this thing. McGregor out well though. Hungarians missed the boat. Solti's mistake there. He pulled on the back of the boat before Boros had the front. And South Africans well positioned on this one.
For the first time, Hatting and Burkett is doing a good portage. A very good one. Comes at the right time of the race.
Two French on the right hand side there. Need to stay away from them. Spain in first. It's going to be Hatting second. Boros and Solti will maybe leave before Hatting. Yes, they have. So it's Boros and Solti will get onto the side watch of Alonso. First time we've seen Alonso doing some work, and it's serious work at the front there. Just trying to make people suffer a little bit. It's Pendle and Rutherford that's going to suffer the most here. But there goes Alonso. And it's Hatting and Burkett on their tail. They're not going to drop them, but they are going to stretch this group a little.
They're going hard now. They have been looking so relaxed all race through, haven't done much of work, but now they are really going hard. This is a good attempt from Peña and Alonso, stretching the group a bit.
Hank's getting the best of this out of the main players, I think. He's just sitting with Boros and Solti, hoping they'll do the work. They're speeding up now to close the gap. Hank not having to do anything. Just hanging off the back of them, but he's still on the wash there. And this group is being stretched. It's a long way back. It's Great Britain that have suffered. They're not going to make this chase. They're on their own, off the back of that group.
Germany is off, and the second Spanish boat is off, and the second Hungarian.
So it's 2 French, 2 South Africans. Hungary and Spain are going to regroup. Everyone else is going to have to pick up the pieces. So Alonso, the first time we've seen him do anything, and what we did see him do there was create some damage.
Burkett and Hatting suffered from missing a buoy in the early stage of the races and have done a couple of poor portages. Is now in the second position. Very well done from them.
Bit of relief to the South African fans to see Hatting and Burkitt finally get cleanly through the portage. That time it was McGregor and Mocker who nearly suffered the French attack when the French tipped the back of their boat just before they entered the portage, but they survived well.
It's nice to see France being up front in this late stage of the race. We have seen them doing this a lot of times in early stages, but I don't think in this late stage.
Not this late into the race for a long, long time, maybe ever. Boros and Salty working hard there. Burkitt and Hatting, it's best we've seen them.
And these guys coming in here is from 13th to 18th position about. Belgium is on 12th in the group in front of them. The Czech Republic, it's Sweden, and it's Great Britain. Czech Republic on 13th position, Sweden on 14th, Great Britain on 15th, and Belgium on 16th.
So further up the course, Great Britain off the back of that big group now. They've done a great race. I think of the people in that front group now, it's McGregor who did the least to be there.
France is struggling a bit there.
And the Spanish were very impressive
Urban
on that
Quentin
section.
and Stéphane Boulanger are still within the group. The other ones are struggling a little bit more. Candy and Lucas. The tail ender of this group now.
This is going to be interesting because McGregor's going to have to fight Burkitt for his wash. And he's backed off. I think if that had been a boat from any other country, McGregor might have tried to hold his ground there. It'd be the French, I think that, yeah, it'd be the French that come under fire from the South Africans now. And Hatting is going to have to go round. And McGregor will let him take him off the side. I'm certain of that. Expect to see the nose of Hatting's boat. Maybe next time we see them, eh?
Oh.
Oh, that doesn't look good. Look like it hurt quite a lot.
And these guys are down to 20th position. Argentina is 19th. Comes Ukraine on 20th position, Australia 21, Denmark, Magnus Hansen on 22nd.
So when we get back up to the front, I'm pretty sure we'll see McGregor on the V-wash again. Just the one more portage now. No, they're on the side. Boros and Salty. I thought McGregor would have let Hatting round his outside. Hatting seems really unwilling to do that, doesn't he? I mean, this is the start of the race all over again here.
Yeah.
McGregor's going to let him take that wash.
Yeah,
if he wants it, McGregor will let him have it. I'm sure of that.
They should just do it. Moving forward there and letting McGregor into the V-wash.
McGregor will gratefully accept a ride in the V-wash at this stage.
Would be a proper team tactics to do so. And here it comes. No. No, he's fighting him off.
So Hatting finds himself on the inside of the top turn, and not for the first time.
The wind has decreased somewhat. Quite good conditions up there now.
Still quite slow at the front there. So Hatting squeezed back as he was earlier in the race. It's always going to happen if you're second wash on that inside. You can be pretty sure he's going to be careful to go around the boys now, though. Looks clean. McGregor, Mocker going, Hatton coming around the outside. The French are going to beat him to it. It's going to be tight on that outside.
That's costly, unnecessarily.
Yeah, they made all that effort to come around then. Why didn't they do it when it would have been easy? So round come Boros and Salty. They're going to take Hatting off the side there, I think. You can't keep doing those efforts. So, and now the three main players at the front. I think it could stay like this to the portage. It's a long way back here now, but I think it will probably stay like this.
Yeah, it looked like Alonso really wanted exactly that to happen. They know themselves now.
It's a dangerous game, letting McGregor into the last portage first, though.
Still a kilometer to go to that portage. Yeah, now down 22 kilometers out of 29.6. So 2.5 kilometers more to go.
Okay, this looks ominous for the other teams. McGregor, if he gets to this last portage first, I think it's going to be very hard to beat. He's showing a good turn of speed. It's going to be hard to overtake, though. We saw it happen last year. And it's way too controlled. Two French at the back of the group, and that's something that Hatting and Burkitt need to be aware of. They're unpredictable at best. Spanish looking relaxed, Hungarians looking relaxed, French coming around the outside. This isn't going to calm things down at all. You see Salty having a look at them. Bit of a stare down. Don't even try it. He's thinking, don't even try it. And the group's reforming. Here we go. It wasn't full on from McGregor. It will be though when the Spanish come. Here we go. Okay, I know I spoke too soon last year. But that was impressive from McGregor and Mocker. McGregor and Mocker happy to let the Hungarians through then, but when the Spanish came as well, it was too risky to let it happen, and you saw them go full out, and their full out was pretty impressive as far as I could see. So, we've got about 300-400 meters to the portage. McGregor speeding up, something's happening up there. Deviating from a straight line, really. Through come the Spanish. It's going to be a little bit of a head-to-head. The Hungarians look like they're being caught short a little bit for speed here.
No one wants to give in. Everyone wants.
No one's going full on. The Spanish just testing again. I think they'll be matched fairly comfortably by McGregor. And this race is really...
It's piling up now.
There's a little bit of an air of inevitability going on now for me in this race. McGregor's got the control he needs coming into this portage. And if he comes out of this first...
Here comes the second Hungarian boat. Fairly big group into the final portage.
There's only 3 boats, I think, that matter here. They're the first 3 in the group. And I think we're going to see McGregor lay down some dominance here.
Just 100 meters more to go to the portage now.
Spanish need to get out of this portage first, and I don't think that's going to happen from the position we're in now.
Just 20 meters more to the portage. Now comes Hungary. And here goes McGregor.
This is going to be tense, but I think it's McGregor's portage. It's gone right to the end to balk the Spanish. The Spanish are in a lot of trouble because the French again took the back of the Spanish boat there. The French have been an absolute nightmare in this race for all the other crews. The Spanish were coming into the portage, the French tapped the back of their boat, and where are the Spanish now? Absolutely nowhere. And that is a disaster for the Spanish.
Here comes Hungary, and it's South Africa, and it's Hungary in the final portage.
This is so sad for the Spanish, and it wasn't their fault. Alonso must be cursing.
But it's Hungary, and it's South Africa, and South Africa out first, and Hungary
waiting for them.
Together.
Hungary let the South Africans go. Hatting in a spot of trouble with the Spanish. Spanish aren't going to make it. It could be Hatting and Burkitt for a bronze here.
France is also there. But it's South Africa, it's Hank McGregor, and it's Jasper Mocker who has the lead in this final bottom turn. South Africa, Hungary, South Africa. And France once again slowing down there. Alonso is stuck on the inner side.
It's looking very good for Hatting and Burkitt now. The Spanish just so unlucky. There's calls online for the French to be disqualified, but I don't think there's a rule against incompetence. I think you can't rule against that. Spanish have got some work to do. They're going to have to take on Hatting and Burkitt.
But they do. They are coming now.
McGregor could save Burkitt here if he just speeds up, and I think he's going to do that for them.
Alonso knows that. Having been looking quite comfortable all race through, Alonso and Pina, and now they're fought off by Burkitt and Hatting. Resting a little bit on the wash there. It's a lot of tactics going on now.
It's not the shape of the group. It's not the ideal shape for the fans, this one, unless you're South African, of course.
Good team racing there from South Africa. Hatting and Burkitt could fight Spain off there. they would help their teammates in front a lot. Speed is high
Hatting and
now.
Burkett having a little pop, I think, at their teammates. I said it
Hungary
last
is
year, but I
perfectly
think this
positioned
one's
out
done.
there. Yeah. Hungary is perfectly positioned out there. They are just resting now on the wash while the struggle is ongoing on the inner
Up come the
side.
Spanish again. Hungarians look tired on the outside there.
I wouldn't agree on that. I think,
Okay.
I think they are resting there on the wash in a quite perfect position.
You were right last year, Stefan, so I'm not going to argue with you this year.
But Alonso and Pina need to do something now. And here they come. Yes.
Hank and Jasper looking after Hatting and Burkett very nicely.
Very nice team racing there from
It's
them.
big going into the turn, and the Spanish failed to make it, but they're going to cause a bit of problem there. They're going to be last around the turn. I feel for the Spanish in this. They did everything right. This is set very well for the South Africans for a 2-medal finish here. Spain, I think,
Spain is taking a long road on the outside.
they're going to have to go all the way from there. It's going to be a very long route round. Can't be done. But it is going to stress McGregor. And we know the Hungarian's going to leave it for the last 50, 60 metres.
Absolutely so.
What we'll see, though, McGregor won't fall for it this time. In fact, the Spanish are going to come.
Yes.
It's going to force the Hungarians to go early.
It's a little
And
bit
the
too
race
early for
begins
the
too
Hungarians.
early for the Hungarians.
Yeah. And the race is on now. It's 250 meters to go, close to 300 meters to go. This is a
Gonna
long,
be
long,
tight.
long sprint.
It's too long, this long sprint. Somebody's going to pay. This is going to fall for Burkett and Hatting, I think. They'll be running down the wash at the end. It's going to be Burkett and Hackett. Burkett and Hatting going to gain from this. It's going to be South Africa.
It's going to be South
Certainly
Africa.
first.
This time it's South Africa. We're watching over the shoulder now. It's South
And
Africa.
here come the Hungarians again. It's going to be close. But it's going to be
South Africa,
South Africa
McGregor,
first.
and it's Jasper Mokke, and it's
Hungary second.
Hungary in second position. It's South Africa on bronze medal. Wow, what a race!
Not quite the drama we saw last year, but a phenomenal race. I feel so bad for the Spanish. They really deserve to be part of that.
But what a race
wasn't to
of
be.
the South African team, and also Hungary. They weren't finished, they were coming, and they were forced to take on the in-sprint a little bit too early for them, but they secured the silver medal anyway. Very good done of Laszlo Solti and Adrian Boros, and very well done of Jasper Mokke and Hank McGregor. A perfect race for them, both tactically and physically. And what about Burkett and Hatting that missed the boy but secured a bronze medal for themselves? Really great racing.
Really good racing. You see how upset the Spanish were. The guy in the back of the Spanish boat making one of the international hand gestures, I think, to the French after that. And McGregor, Mokke leading into that portage. Always was going to go their way, I thought. But it could have gone for the Hungarians had the Spanish not taken them on too soon. Spanish had to do that, but that left the Hungarians strung out. They had to go too early. And South Africa, pretty sure, first and third. Hungary second. Stefan's gone off to try and get the interviews. Really well done. After all the early errors, It went well for the second South African crew there on the last couple of laps. Group shape fell well. It was the French who'd hassled them earlier in the race that did them the final favour on the last portage, took the Spanish out, and from then on, all Hatting had to do was sit with his teammates, which he did beautifully. No mistakes on the last lap and a half from him. Finished really well and got the reward he deserved. Belgians there didn't show as well as we thought they might. Corin and Panakouk, Adam and Odvarku with them as well. They were up there with the front runners to start with. So Hank McGregor, most definitely man of the match this weekend. I think the Hungarians were shot in the foot by the Spanish, who were forced to go early. The Hungarians had their plan and had it whipped out from underneath them. Didn't have any choice. They had to go early, and that destroyed the Hungarians' chances of a late win like we saw last year. But even if they had gone late, I would still have fancied Hank's chances. I didn't think he was full on even at the end there. And I think maybe the French won't be the most popular at the party tonight. It's got a lot of making up to do with a lot of crews.
Okay, we've seen some fantastic racing here this afternoon. I hope everybody will come and join us in the grandstand to give the
So as we see Swedish come in here, 7:22, Torstenson and Svensson, along with Moll and Jamil. And the second Czech crew. It's going to be a long race in for these. There's about 100 metres to go, but it's going to be Moll and Jamil taking it. So Moll and Jamil take their group. The Swedes are going to have to hold off an attack from the Czechs as well now. It's going to be a very tight finish. I think the Czechs are going to get this. So it's Moll and Jamil from the Czech Republic. No, maybe not. Maybe the Swedes just picked it at the end there. But what a great weekend's racing. We've seen races closing in on perfection in terms of tactics this weekend. We've seen errors and we've seen people come back from those errors. We've seen misfortune, but what a cool race we've watched there to add to all the other races we've seen this weekend. Teams of the tournament, you just can't beat the Hungarians as an overall team. They've absolutely butchered the rest of the world yet again in the medal tally. But in the senior men's, South Africa are head and shoulders above the rest right now. .706 finishing there, Maran and Bonacina from Italy. And it's going to be Argentina behind them.
Can we have the medal winners of the ladies K2 and the men's C2 immediately to the podium area, please?
Across the line, 717 next. Pinter and Mozzie Cafredo
Jasper
from
Mocke and
Argentina.
Hank McGregor, congratulations, what a race.
Thanks very much. We very happy to be here, and obviously winning the races. That's why we came here. So job done.
A double, Hank.
Yes, no, managed to pull it off in Oklahoma, and you're only as good as your partner. So it was a team effort today, and Jasper hasn't been feeling well the whole week. It was a 50-50 call whether we were going to race or not. So we managed to just conserve as much as possible. I'm sure Ivan had lots to say with me in the diamond the whole time, but we had a fantastic race, and Jasper was strong when we needed to be, and we're world champions again. We're really happy.
There was a lot of tactics ongoing there. Quite a slow race, but lots of tactics.
Yeah, I think there was at any time 8 to 10 boats in the front bunch. So, I think Hank, like you said, did really well, just surfing from wave to wave. And, every time that there's an effort, you can just see everybody's got a clock and everybody's depleting themselves. Every 10, 20 strokes that they sprint. So we were trying to limit those little sprints. And if we did sprint, we were mindful to make it count. So we wanted to send a message every time when we did put in an effort that, we came out on top, and we did that. So we were happy with that.
So no meaningless effort from you?
No meaningless effort. That's it. If you've only got so many bullets in the chamber, so you've got to use them wisely.
Exactly so. And double this year, and what about next year, Hank?
Oh, I don't know. I'm getting a bit long in the tooth. Maybe Jasper will find a younger partner. But you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed myself out today, and it's an honor representing my country and my sponsors, and paddling with such a fantastic partner. I really had fun today, and that's why I'm still in the sport.
Yeah, about having fun next year in South Africa.
Yeah, I think I really hope the guys come to South Africa next year. It's such a unique destination. It's I think World Marathon the last time I was in South Africa was in '98. So that's quick calculation, 18 years ago. So really welcome the world there next year, and come and have a unique experience. Stay on, do the fish marathon, come paddle some surf ski, make a cool trip out of it. And I promise you the racing will be fierce. We'll be there.
Absolutely so. Thank you, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Great interview from the guys there. Clearly pleased to be back at the top after last year. A little bit of disappointment from them last year, but absolutely phenomenal performance. Flawless from Hank on both days today, both days this weekend rather, and both races pretty much straightforward, pretty much routine in the end. And routine always makes things look easy, but be assured it's not easy. It's the thought processes that go behind that relaxation that's hard. It's not easy to learn these skills, and Hank is right up the top of the people who know how to handle these races. And Jasper, it seems, is a top-end backman.
Laszlo
that's
Solt.
what you need. So over to Stefan.
Adrian
Sorry.
Boros and Laszlo Solti, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Silver medal, you are pleased?
Yes, it was a good place, I think, because Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocke was very strong now, and I think it's a good result to us.
The in-sprint was quite long for you.
Yes, I think it was too early, but Spanish guy tried to drop down.
So you were forced to start the sprint a little bit too early.
Yes, it was too early because we wanted to finish at 100 meter, but I think it was 200 meter and it was so long.
But anyway, a silver medal, and you are pleased. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear their comments too, and I'm really pleased for those two guys that after last year's excitement and everything they gave us, unless we were South African of course, all that excitement from last year, glad to see they're still back there and still enjoying their racing, and I'm sure we'll see more of them. Yeah, confirmation there that they were forced into an early attack that they didn't want to do, and that just scuppered their chances. I don't think that they had the chance they had last year, and I think this year Hank McGregor just too strong, his races were too well managed, and when somebody that strong manages their races that well, they become very, very hard to beat. It's been brilliant having you all listening. We really appreciate you sticking with us through some of the technical difficulties, and hopefully will be invited back next year. If not, I'm sure he'll enjoy the live feed with other commentators anyway. It'd be great to be out in South Africa. Last time we were all in South Africa, back in '98, we were still racing. So it'd be nice to be there without the stress of having to race. So thanks to all you guys. Really appreciate the comments and the banter. And we're lining up for a few medal presentations now. Leave those to you. And in the meantime, I'm going to get the coffee on in the commentary box. Thank you so much for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal presentation for the women's K2 will begin. Meine Damen und Herren, ich rufe auf zur Siegerehrung im Kajak-Zweier der Damen. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal presentation for women's K2. Meine Damen und Herren, die Siegerehrung im Kajakzweier der Damen. Die Ehrungen vorher Thomas Konietzko, Board Member of the ICF. Er wird begleitet von Herrn Robert Weiß, Teamleader der ungarischen Mannschaft. The bronze medal for Hungary, Zoran Mikhail and Sophie Gigsley. Die Bronzemedaille für Sarah Mikalik und Sofia Kisi, Ungarn. The silver medal for the Republic of South Africa, Jalen Ward and Kenneth Purchase. Die Silbermedaille. Die Republik Südafrika. And the gold medal and world champions from Hungary, Renata Shea and Alexandra Bella. Die Goldmedaille und Weltmeisterin 2016, Alexandra Bella und Renata Shea, Ungarn. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the national anthem of Hungary? Meine Damen und Herren, bitte erheben Sie sich zur Ehren der Nationalhymne von Ungarn. gentlemen, the medal presentation for C2 men will begin. Meine Damen und Herren, ich rufe auf zur Siegerehrung im Kanadier Zweier der Herren. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal presentation, C2 men. Meine Damen und Herren, die Siegerehrung im Kanadier Zweier der Herren. Die Ehrung wird vorgenommen von Herrn Jens Perlwitz, Mitglied des ICF Board of Director. Ihm zur Seite steht Herr Edwin Schabay, technischer Direktor der ungarischen Mannschaft. The bronze medal for Hungary, Zoltan Kalesa and Vince Blaskowski. Die Bronzemedaille für Zoltan Kalesa und Vince Blaskowski, Ungarn. The silver medal for Spain, Ramon Ferro and Oscar Graham. Die Silbermedaille für Ramon Ferro und Oscar Graham, Spanien. The gold medal and world champions from Hungary, Martin Kova and Alan Dons. Die Goldmedaille, Weltmeister 2016, Martin Kova, Alan Dons, Ungarn. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the national anthem of Hungary? Meine Damen und Herren, bitte erheben sich zu Ehren der Nationalhymne von Ungarn. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you very much. für die Weltmeister zu 16 und einen herzlichen Glückwunsch. Just waiting for the final medal presentation, followed by the presentation of national trophies for the World Championships here this weekend. And then a few moments for the official closing ceremony, handing over the flag to next year's recipient, which is South Africa. Ja, meine Damen und Herren, eine Siegerehrung haben wir natürlich noch, der K2 der Herren. Das Rennen, was wir gerade noch gesehen haben, es wird einen kleinen Moment dauern. Die Damen haben hier schon die Fahnen entgegengenommen und werden sie jetzt aufhängen. Anschließend haben wir noch eine kleine Präsentation. Das geht aber dann alles auf Englisch und auch die Beendigung dieser Veranstaltung, dieser Weltmeisterschaft, wird mein Kollege in Englisch übernehmen. Es ist halt Vorschrift der ICF, dass es so abläuft. Bitte bleiben Sie hier, geben Sie dem Ende der Veranstaltung den würdigen Rahmen. Südafrika ist der nächste Austräger der Weltmeisterschaft im Kanu-Marathon. Dorthin wird die Flagge übergeben, die ICF-Flagge übergeben. Bleiben Sie hier. Es ist noch relativ früh am Nachmittag. Alle haben wir noch Zeit, jetzt sind wir eine ganze Woche hier gewesen, beziehungsweise 3 Tage für die WM. Auf die paar Minuten sollte es jetzt auch nicht mehr ankommen. Bleiben Sie einfach hier und freuen sich mit den Sportlerinnen und Sportlern auf die nächste Medaillenübergabe. Could we have Adrian Burris and Laszlo Solti here as quickly as possible, please, for the medal presentation? Could we have Andy and Louis here, please, for the medal presentation in the K2? Ladies and gentlemen, the medal presentation for the men's K2 will begin. Meine Damen und Herren, ich rufe auf zur Siegerehrung im Kajak-Zweier der Herren. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal presentation for men's K2. Meine Damen und Herren, die Siegerehrung im Kajak-Zweier der Herren. Die Ehrung wird vorgenommen von Herrn Jörn Kronberg, Board Member of the ICF. Ihm zur Seite steht Herr Nigel Briggs, Teamleader der Mannschaft der Republik Südafrika. The bronze medal for the Republic of South Africa, Louis Hatting and Andrew Burkett. Andrew Burkett, Südafrika, Republik Südafrika. The silver medal for Hungary, Adrian Boris and Laszlo Sholti. And the gold medal and world champions from the Republic of South Africa, Hank McGregor and Jason Republik Südafrika. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the national anthem, the Republic of South Africa? Meine Damen und Herren, bitte erheben Sie sich zu Ehren der Nationalhymne der Republik Südafrika. Congratulations. Thank you. Vielen Dank. Herzliche Gratulation. Und meine Damen und Herren, das war die letzte Siegerehrung im Rahmen der Weltmeisterschaft hier in Brandenburg. Schön, dass Sie da waren. Und jetzt wird es offiziell. 2016 World Championships is Hungary. Thanks very much, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome onto the stage Mr. Michael Kensler, the Chairman of the World Championship Organising Committee, accompanied by Mr. Thomas Konventsko, the President of the German Canoe Federation, Mr. Jürgen Kronberg, ICF Board Member and Chairman of the ICF Marathon Racing Committee, Mr. Colin Simpson, General Secretary of the South African Canoe Federation, and Mr. Brett Austin Smith, Chairman of the 2017 World Championship Organising Committee. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I call upon the President of the German Federation, Mr. Thomas Konventsko.
Dear remaining friends, at the moment it's a very strange feeling. I feel sadness and happiness at the same time. I feel sad because we have now to close a big competition which impressed and delighted during the last 4 days. Thousands here at the grandstands and 100,000 in front of the TVs, of the cell phones and laptops. And I feel happy because the German Canoe Federation and the local organizers from the Regatta Verein Brandenburg could prove that we are able to provide a very professional stage for very professional sport. That's why I want to express my gratitude at first to our judges, officials, which helped to manage this competition, but as well to our volunteers from the local organizing committee, to our sponsors. I hope everybody will take at home a lot of good memories from this Canoe Marathon World Championship 2016. Have a safe trip home. Thank you for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask Mr. Jürgen Kronberg, the ICF Board Member and Chairman of the ICF Marathon Racing Committee, to respond?
The World Championships has come to an end, and I wish to thank the people and authorities of Brandenburg for their kind hospitality and their support. I wish to thank the athletes for their splendid performance in competition. I wish to thank the officials and the local helpers for their dedicated contribution to the success of the championships. In particular, I would like to thank the organizing committee and the German Canoe Federation for having organized great World Championships. I have the pleasure of presenting a token of our appreciation from the International Canoe Federation to the German Canoe Federation. And also to the organizing committee represented by the chairman, Michael Kensler. Thank you to all of you, and by this, I officially declare the World Championships for closed.
Africa this time next year.
Thank you very much for bestowing this honour upon us to host the 2017 World Championships. We really look forward to it, and we trust that we will do the tradition proud. To the paddlers and canoeing community, we look forward to hosting you in South Africa. We promise that we will be delivering a truly Zulu experience, and in the words of the Zulu chiefs, Bayete, Sizonbona in Mzansi Afrika.